Hi, good morning. This is Dr. Brenda Ashen Shoshana, back with a little talk for simple solutions in a complex world. Actually, the world isn't complex. We are. Our mind is. It's always working, 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 creating all kinds of complications, confusion, explanations, considerations, and we think that's what it means to be smart. I have a very beautiful quote that I want to start with today, and it says, "You never ask the meaning of life. You never ask the meaning of life when you're in love." See, deep down inside our mind is constantly questioning everything. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of life? What she said something, what does she really mean? We're always trying to find a loophole. It's trying to find something missing, something wrong, and be on top of it. Our motivation is very good. We want to be on top of it. We want to do what's right. We want to know what's going on. I've heard that phrase so many times. What's really going on here? We want to know that. And we feel once we know that, we'll be on top of life. And then we'll be able to relax and receive love, kindness, goodness. But it could feel dangerous to do that if we're not in what we think of as a safe environment. That actually, sadly, keeps us tense all the time, on guard, non-trusting, vigilant for something wrong. It doesn't allow us to see through the eyes of love. It's a very different thing when you see through the eyes of love. Then whatever you see, you feel relaxed, you feel open, you feel at ease. We're not always looking for what's wrong. You're not looking for what's right either. Wrong and right, two palms of a hand. You're not looking for what's wrong, for what's right, because right turns to wrong, wrong turns to right in a minute. Instead, you're just looking through the eyes of love, through the eyes of wholeness, completion. Now, that might seem like a very strange concept, but it's a beautiful one. It's simple and it's very easily doable. And actually, when we look through the eyes of love, what we see changes. I actually can promise you that. That's not a theory. When you know what are, let's go right to the point here. How do you do that? Because, I'm very practical. I love to take these very interesting abstract ideas and make them real so we can live them. Otherwise, it's just an idea floating around and it doesn't impact the quality of our life, the quality of our relationships, the quality of our day. So then we say, make it into your flesh and bones. I love that. Love that. Let's live these ideas. So people will say, oh, you're being Pollyanna, you're looking through the eyes of love, you're creating a fantasy, you're creating a dream. That's not quite true. I'm not saying that. Actually, when you look through the eyes of love, you're much more aware of anything that might be in some way in opposition. And if it is, it is. Because when you look at it through the eyes of love, it cannot harm you. It cannot. Because the fear we have and the agitation about something gives it power. And when that fear is gone, it has no power. So I'm taking it too far, too fast. Let's stick with looking through the eyes of love because the way we perceive something is actually up to us. Doesn't seem that way. It really does not seem that way, but it is. So looking through the eyes of love means seeing the moment, the situation, the person, ourselves, from a vantage point of completion, of wholeness, and of really of the ultimate beauty that we really all are. Let me give you a quick little exercise, and here it is. Take a moment and think of someone that you really don't like very much, or you might have some problem with, and just look at them and see how that feels when you're perceiving them. Okay, now take another moment and look at someone that you feel pretty neutral about. Not bad, not good, just neutral. And see how you're looking at them, how you're feeling, how you're perceiving. Now, think of someone you really love. You just love them. Everything about them. Nothing they do can really bother you. You just love them. Now look at that person. Do you feel the warmth, the delight, the acceptance? Even if they make a face, even if they act silly for a moment, we can experience that a lot with babies. We just are enthralled. Now, that way you're looking at that person, the one you think is so wonderful, look at the first one that way for a moment. Just look at them that way. See what they turn into in your experience. See how you feel. Just notice that adjustment. It's very simple. It's very powerful. It's wonderful. I have, believe it or not, a great granddaughter. Hard to believe it. And I saw her this weekend. Whoa. You know, we're like that with our children and with little ones. She could do the simplest thing. And I think it's so magnificent. How can she do that? How can she wave hello again? You know, simple things become extraordinary. And that's what that quote means. We never ask the meaning of life when we're in love. That love is the meaning of life. That delight. It's more than love, it's delight. It's wonder. Oh my goodness. She actually, well, she could cry in another moment, or she could go in another moment. It doesn't affect your total thrill with that person, that baby, or that adult, or whatever. You're looking through the eyes of love. So I just wanted to share that with you today. I'll try to be back again this week, do a little more of these. And I thank you very much for being here with me. It's really a delight, a delight. And let me just say a quick little answer to many people, not many, but some who said, well, you're being Pollyanna, people can hurt you. Of course, people do all kinds of things. But my point was, it's not them that hurts you. It's how we are receiving it. Can a little baby who's so beautiful and who runs over and gives you a little tap, is that going to hurt you? Or will you just take it as part of the beautiful wholeness and aliveness and truth that that child is? Something good to dwell upon. Have a beautiful day. Have a wonderful day. And I will see you really soon. Okay, bye-bye. Take good care.